son. Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. So I am finishing up cooking dinner because I just got done feeding Nate. So after I get done cooking this hamburger meat, then I'm going to go sit down and talk to you guys. But I wanted to come on and just... So earlier today, I wanted to share with you guys why I wanted to talk about domestic abuse and domestic violence and human trafficking. So I want to tell you guys. So here's the thing. Earlier today, I was listening to a podcast while I was at work. And the podcast was about two different young ladies. Hey, Straight Talking. The podcast was about two different young ladies, you guys, who they both went through human trafficking. One went through human trafficking and the other one was in an abusive relationship. But they were both struggling. They both struggled with addiction. And so I was listening to their story and it really just like resonated with me, right? Because I too was in a domestic violence relationship. A relationship for almost 7 years where for about 3.5, almost 4 of those years, he beat me up a lot. Almost every day. And I was listening to these women. They're like it's so emotional when you're sharing this kind of stuff because it's so personal, you know. It's just, I know for me, I think back to that time when I was in that relationship. So let me tell you guys about my experience. I met the guy that I was with for like 6.5 years. His name was LD. He's passed away now. I met him, and I think it was like 2001. And I thought that I had just met my soulmate for life, right? I was so excited. I fell right in love with him. He was so charismatic. He was just his personality was just electrifying. And he just drew me in, you know? And rightfully so. I mean, he was a good-looking guy. Hey, Bethany. He was a good-looking guy. He was in a bad spot, right? And I was in a bad spot. We were both actively using. He had nowhere to live. He was homeless. And I just fell in love with him. And I'm the kind of person, I don't know if you ladies are like this, but Nathaniel, I am a fixer. And when I find someone that's struggling, I want to help them get their life together, right? I want to help them. I am a fixer by nature. And so when I met him, I fell in love, and I wanted to help him get his life together. I wanted to help him straight up. And so we started dating, and we were both homeless. We were living out of a car together, you know. And I look back on this time, and I'm like, I cannot believe that I started out a relationship by living in a car with someone. But that tells you where my self-confidence was at. That tells you where how I was in my addiction. Like, I was just like, I didn't have any self-respect. And so I think that he knew this, and he identified that I was weaker and that I was seeking validation. When I look back on the relationship now, I realize that he was like a narcissist. Hey, Candy. I remember when we first started, you know, really getting serious. We got our own place after we moved out of our car. And everything went so quickly. And I was just in love. I don't know if I was in love with him or if I was in love with the idea of saving him. But I was in love. The first 2 years went great. Or as great as they could have went with someone who was homeless that you just found off the streets, right? As good as they could have went with two people who were in active addiction. And then after that, he started hitting me. And I remember the first time he ever hit me, like it was yesterday, because when he did it, he apologized right afterward. And he started crying because he was like, he was so surprised that he had done it, you know? But what I had learned afterward later on is that he had hit all of his girlfriends. That's what he did. He hit them. And he would hit me in front of his family. He would take things and throw them at me in front of his sister, his brother, his dad. And the whole family just co-signed this behavior. Right? The whole family just kind of watched and didn't say anything. Right? Didn't even stick up for me. And, damn, I'm telling you what, you guys, for 7 years almost, I was in that relationship. I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave. I didn't know how to leave. I didn't think I could do any better than this guy, right? I thought, well, if I leave him, then I'm not going to have anybody, right? And I think that's what abusive men do, or abusive women do, is they corner you in a relationship to where you feel like you can't do anything without them. I mean, it got to where everything we did, we drove the same car to work. Everything was connected. I couldn't function without him. Even if I wanted to function without him, that wasn't going to happen because he wasn't going to let that happen, right? The relationship that I have today is a night and day difference from the way it used to be, you guys. It's so different, and I'm so grateful for that. But let's get back on what happened then. Okay. So, we were living inside this little ass trailer, right? Little podunk trailer in the middle of the trailer park. And I think that the abuse was bad, but it wasn't as bad as it was going to get. The abuse didn't get really, really, really unbearable. Because, right, he could knock me down and I would get back up. The abuse got really bad once we separated, okay? He left me and he didn't come back. I mean, he left, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I thought, wow, he doesn't love me anymore. I must not be good enough. I look back, and I think back, you guys, and I think, why did you want him so bad? He was beating you, right? But it was like I was brainwashed. I was brainwashed. Well, we were separated we stayed separated, but we were apart for 6 months. And sorry guys, I remember one night he called me and I was just like, okay, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to meet up with this guy who, first of all, he left me. Second of all, he stole all my jewelry. Third of all, like I was rock bottom. I had nobody. I was all alone. I had to move in with these people that I would get high with, right? Well, I went and met him, and since we were broken up, it was like I didn't have to listen to what he said, right? How old was I? Oh gosh, I started dating him in 2001. So I graduated. I was 20, about 20 years old. I had just failed out of college when I met him, okay? And my parents had just kicked me out, and I was like, that's why I was like, oh, I'll just move in with him and we'll live out of my car. Y'all, we lived out of my Ford Focus, okay? I was with him from 20 to 26 years old, okay? And then after me and him broke up, that's when I caught my charge. But so we broke up, and I wasn't living with him anymore. I was living with my friend Nicole and her boyfriend Jeremy. And he called me, and I went over to hang out with him one night at his boss's house. And the beating that he gave me that night was unlike any beating he had ever done before. That night, we got drunk on vodka. We were drinking vodka with Kool-Aid. Vodka with Kool-Aid. And I remember, trigger warning, I remember being in the garage and him punching me in my forehead. I mean, just BAP! And me hitting the ground and my head bouncing off the cement. And I got back up. Is that all you got, motherfucker? BAP! And he kept doing it until I didn't get up. Well, then he drugged me into the bedroom and I pissed all over his room on the ground. I don't know, I guess I was passed out and I was pissing everywhere. So he hit me again while I was passed out. And I woke up because he was hitting me in the head. Right? Well, then I don't remember. Then I blacked out. I fell asleep, I guess. I don't know. I think I was unconscious. That's what happened. And I woke up the next morning, and when I went to stand up, you guys, I fell over because I had a concussion, and I couldn't stand up. And that's when I got scared, because I said, oh my God, like, I'm dizzy when I'm standing up. And I had my car, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I got in my car and I drove home to my parents' house. And I walked in the door, and my dad said my face looked like Muhammad Ali's face after a boxing match. I was swolled out everywhere. And I had a job at the time. I was working at McDonald's overnight, like the 11 to 7 shift. And I was so worried about losing my job, you guys, that I went in that night and tried to work. But I kept falling over because my equilibrium was messed up because I had a concussion. So I finally went to the hospital that night. They let me go home, and I went to the hospital. And I had a concussion. You guys, it was so bad. And after that day, you guys, I never went back. I never met him when he called me. I never went and hung out with him after that. Like, that was it, right? I guess that's what I needed. I needed to finally just say that was all. And I also needed to hear, I needed to see, like, how bad he was hurting me. He had so much control over the way I thought about myself, how I saw myself. You know, he would tell me I was ugly and that I was fat and that I was no good and that I would never have anyone but him. And he would make me think I was crazy. I would know things were going on, like money was coming up missing, my jewelry was missing, people were coming in and out of our house when I wasn't there. And I would, like, know, and then he would say that I was crazy and that I was imagining it. That was one of the famous things he always did, was say that what I was knowing was happening was not happening. All the time he did that to me. And so what started happening was I started questioning my sanity and thinking, well, maybe I am crazy. Maybe I did do too much dope. Because that's the thing, you guys. Drugs were also, you know, involved. So it was like, and at this time in my drug addiction, I hadn't gotten to that point where I was like hallucinating all the time like I was at the end of my drug addiction. You know, I was just really getting started. Yeah. Oh, Tasha, I'm so sorry. Hey, Sonia. So it was just like, you know what I'm saying, you guys? Like, I swore to God, I swore I would never get in a relationship with somebody beat me up. Ever. And I never thought I would. I always thought that I was, like, stronger than that, and that I could tell, that I could tell if somebody was like that. When I met LD, I fell so head over heels in love with him. Like, I loved the way he looked. I loved his personality. Like I said, he was just so cunning. He was so, like, just, he had this, like, devious look to him. You know what I'm talking about? Like a little weasel, but, like, in a sexy way. What? He looked like a greaser from back in the, you know, like the black hair with a leather jacket on, green eyes. Like, he just had this, like, look to him. Like you, baby, like you. But not like you, because you're just beautiful. And you're perfect. This guy was not a nice person. And so, I just fell in love with I guess maybe his appearance, and then, like, the bad boy, kind of like, he was a bad boy. He was a drug addict. He had felonies. And I was, like, in that stage of my life where I was like, bad boys were sexy to me, right? And so, you guys, like, I know now that when he started putting hands on me, you guys, there was no way I was trapped, right? And I didn't know where to turn. And I didn't have the strength, you guys, to say no or to get out, you know? Hey, Krissa.
Mom, I need to go tinkle.
Okay, baby, go tinkle. So now, you guys, now when I look back on that, I realized that a lot of the things that happened, a lot of those situations happened because I did not have a good judgment because I was under the influence of drugs, right? Today, in my sober life, honey, I am not going. Put your hands on me and I'm calling the police. Do you hear me? You're going to jail, period. Like, I'm not, there's going to be no pass go, no collect $200, nothing. If somebody puts hands on me nowadays, I'm calling the law. But back then, I was, so I thought calling the police was, for stitches and all that kind of stuff. But not today. Nope, not anymore. I love myself today. And I'm not going to let nobody do that to me. Luckily or thankfully, my husband is a good man and he don't do that to me, right? But if he did, I would happen. I'm not going to stand for it anymore because I don't want that in my life. I respect myself more than that, right? I respect myself today, you guys. And when I was in active addiction, I didn't have any self-respect. And that's why I allowed men that to happen for a long time, because I didn't respect myself. And I was sick too. So what inspired me to talk with you guys about this was when I was listening to that podcast today at work, it brought me to tears, you guys. Hearing these girls talk about their experience in their abusive relationships, right? Yes, that's right, Sandra. Hey, Krissy, what's up, girl? What's up? You're not alone, girl. Come on in here and talk with us. We don't have to accept that anymore, It happens with all kinds of couples. In fact, Sandra, I have seen abuse happen with two women, a lot. Because I used to have, my sister's a lesbian. I don't know if you guys know that. But she's very good to her girlfriend. But I used to be best friends with this girl and her girlfriend. And they used to beat each other's asses. And it's not acceptable. It is not ever acceptable for anyone to put their hands on you. I don't care if they're just... Don't put your hands in my space. This is my space. And I'm going to tell you guys this, you know what? I really had to learn to not put my hands on other people. Because when I used to have a bad temper, especially when I was in addiction, I used to get handsy, and for the longest time, I used to think it was my fault that I got my ass beat. Because my mouth... And because I was a firecracker. It doesn't matter if I come in wailing. No man should ever put their hands on any woman, and no woman should ever put their hands on any man. And women and women and men and men and whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, we have to respect each other, you guys. And like, when you start crossing that line and you start hitting somebody, there's no trust and there's no love in hitting someone. It's horrible. My girlfriend. Good, Sandra. That makes me so happy to hear. Yeah, girl, you can. My sister is so good to her girlfriend, and they're good to each other. They're good to each other, and I love it. I love my sister so much. That bag that her opiate fix is making? That's for my sister. I remember catching the crackhead through a window cheating on me with someone young enough to be my daughter. Well, dang it! Get rid of him. Been or are being abused by their wives. They stay for the children. Yeah, I mean, now, me and Neil, you guys, there was a time when we were both in active addiction. This is before I had my son. And, I tried to attack him. And I have made amends, and I apologize, and I would never do that again. I love my husband, and I respect him, and I don't want to disrespect him like that. But when I was in active addiction, I would do stuff like that. And that's just like... Anyway, Struggling, though, you guys, like, struggling as a woman and being sick in my addiction, I allowed things to happen, you guys, that I should have never let happen to me. And I also did things that I'm not proud of, you know? So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about was when I was listening to this podcast, my first husband put his hands on me. Yeah, it's something that you'll never not remember, you guys. It's like once you've been through an abusive relationship, I hate to say this, but like I have like a jerk reaction with Neil. Like if we get in an argument, I used to be like, you know what I mean? And it's like, Nicole, he's Neil does not hit me, you know, but I would automatically, especially when we first started dating, because LD, y'all, he would just walk up to me and bust me upside the head. Like, I'm not even lying. This dude had he was ruthless. Ruthless.
He's rude.
Nate, go upstairs and watch FGTV. You don't need to be listening to this conversation, nosy butt. You done had your dinner. And Mommy took you to the park, and we had a great day today. Okay? Go on upstairs. Got it? So, I am looking. It looks like a mansion.
People living in there.
Let me see.
Look.
Oh, I see.
And one inside of here.
That's a good, look at that little house right there he made. That's good.
There's Krissy.
You can play in here, and I'm going to go right over here so you'll hear me. You'll kind of hear me, but you won't hear what I'm saying, okay?
No.
All right.
No, I'm going upstairs to watch FGTV and stuff.
Okay, love you. So, I think because I was an active addiction, like I allowed things to happen that I normally would not allow to happen here in my recovery today, you know? And it doesn't matter though. Like, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're in active addiction or if you're stone cold sober. Like, nobody deserves to be hit, you guys. So let's talk about human trafficking. That's what I wanted to talk about next. I don't know if any of you ladies have ever been in a situation where you were prostituting or you were forced to prostitute, or you were taken and sold to somebody. But I was listening to this podcast, and this girl was in active addiction. Hey, Layla. Girl, I've been wondering where you been. I went over there to your channel and commented to let you know I was watching all your videos. So I was listening to this girl's podcast, and she had a methamphetamine addiction. And what happened was she started dating this guy, and he started pimping her, being her pimp. And it wasn't because she chose to sell her body. He was forcing her. You know, he coerced her, he groomed her, and he talked her in. Do you understand? And then when she wouldn't do it, he would hit her. And so she did it because she didn't want to be hurt, you know? And so listening to her talk about, you know, having to sell her body and then him taking the money from her and her not even getting to have the money. But what he would do to make her think it was okay was he would buy her stuff and, you know, oh, well, here, you made $500. I'll let you hold on to 100 of it. You know, and he kept doing this until it was like what happened is he like gained her trust, and they were like I said, boyfriend and girlfriend, right? And he basically groomed her into this, right? And now I've never had anyone pimp me. I've never had somebody, you know, make me do anything like that. But I'll be honest with you guys, like I have, you know, done things for money, and I've done things for drugs. Hey, Jason. And I'm not proud of that, you know, but that my active addiction, that's how low I got, was I would, you know, I've only done it probably 3 or 4 times, but hey, those 3 or 4 times was enough for me to know that it's a horrible, degrading, awful feeling, you guys. You know, and so many women get like pushed into or forced into human trafficking, where they have, men that are their pimps that, abuse them and hurt them if they don't do what they tell them to do. And that breaks my heart. So I was listening to this woman's podcast, right? Right, Layla had to do it to get by. And I was in tears listening to her talk about, meeting with different men and, having an act for each person that she met with. And, human trafficking is like such a huge problem, you guys. Like, so many people are talking about sex work. I'm not talking about like, hey, I like to strip and I'm getting paid, right? Or, hey, I'm an escort and I'm making money. I'm talking about people who are taken against their will and sold into sex trafficking, or women who have addictions who are forced into, selling their bodies because they have to fuel their drug habit, And I just know for me, being an addict, that part of me being addicted was, had to come comment. I have so much more to say, but I have to wait until it's not live. We love you. So glad you're... Hey, love you too, MJ. This woman wrote a book, you guys, and I'm serious. Like, she wrote a book about... And what she did was she kept a journal. She kept a journal because her parents always lived in the same house. So while she was with this guy, her boyfriend, was pimping her out, she kept a journal. And she would escape and leave sometime, right? And go back to her parents' house. And she would write in this journal. And she would write about what he was doing to her and how he was, making her sell her ass, right? And how he would have other women over and how they didn't have to sell their ass, but she had to sell hers, And so I have to, let me find her name, because I'm pretty sure it was Grace, Bethany, let me look her up. So it was so touching listening to the story. I'm in the middle of the story, y'all. I'm stalking the cards and tears are just rolling down my face. And I've had friends who, when I was on the streets, that had pimps here where I live now, and they felt like there was no other way for them to live except for to have this pimp that made their decisions, gave them their money, told them when to go sleep, when to do this, when to do that. And there's a program here in Arkansas, and it's called people against human trafficking, people against trafficking humans. Path. It's called Path, and it's called People Against Trafficking Humans, and it's a group of women who help these girls learn how to get a bank account. Y'all, this is how, and I know this because my sponsor started going to this place and talking with the girls. There's some of the girls that don't even know how to write a check. They don't know how to open a bank account. They don't know that they need to brush their teeth every day. Like, they were sold into sex trafficking from the time they were little girls, 12 years old, 11 years old, Or in other states like third world countries and China or wherever, this is normal. And these are like brothels where they have little girls that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old that men will come there and pay to have sex with, Love you, Jason. Katie's Revenge. Oh, I need to watch that. Katie's Revenge. That sounds so good. People will fly to Thailand for sex. I watched that on Vice. Yes, Annie, me too. Yes. So, and they were on this podcast. She was talking about how there's signs for sex trafficking that you can tell. You can recognize these signs by if a woman has a barcode tattoo, if she has a $sign tattooed on her, if she has the guy's name, the pimp's name, like Johnny's first lady, okay? That's like a mark of a pimp's, first lady, first trick, okay? The girls being young, the girls having a lot of money or having a lot of nice things that they didn't used to have. A tattoo of a crown. Yes, Annie, that's what... Annie, listen to it. Yes. Did you not cry when you listened to that? What was the name of the podcast? I Survivor, right? The podcast is called I Survivor, I think. And, oh man, it was so good. That guy took her to Miami and other places too. Had 3 people in a brothel there too. Yeah, I Survivor. That was it. And I'm going to tomorrow for Matt's support. Good night, Krissy. I'm so sorry you're struggling, girl. Please text me and let me know, okay? You guys will love it. And I listened to it today, and I was just crying, you guys. I was just crying my eyes out. So I wanted to just share with you guys about, the domestic violence that I have experienced, right? Hey, Captain. And what it was like for me when I was in that relationship with him. Because I knew better. I knew that I deserved to not be getting my ass whooped, right? I wasn't a bad girlfriend. In fact, when I started dating this guy, you guys, I literally saved... He had nothing. He had no job. He had nowhere to live. And I had 2 jobs. And I remember we were sleeping in my car. And I was like, we can't live like this anymore. We got to get our own place. And I remember my parents helped us find a little apartment. And then after that, we got our own like nice little trailer. It was so nice, you guys, right? Trafficked, recovered, redeemed on I Survivor. There you go. Thanks, Annie. Y'all, I'm telling you what, Annie's my stinking secretary. She's got it. She's on top of it. Thank you, Annie. Annie's doing such a good job. I really appreciate you, girl, because I'm never prepared. And I know you are. So, traffic. Yes, you've got trafficked, recovered, redeemed, right? Okay, anyway, you put it on there. So, trafficked, recovered, redeemed on I Survivor. Yes, there you go. Thank you so much. So, when I was in that relationship, it got to a point where that's what I felt like I deserved, right? I felt like I deserved to be hit. I felt like this was normal. This is how he showed me that he loved me. And these are the things that he would tell me too. Like, I love you, or I hit you because I love you. Or then it got to a point where it was like, that was an accident. And then when I would be high, he would try to make me feel like I was hallucinating. I did text you that podcast, girl. Yes, I texted a whole bunch of you guys the podcast this morning. Because I was just like feeling it, and I was like, I gotta show my people. And so he would make me feel like that's what I deserved, like you deserve to get hit, right? Yep, free. And it was just not a good situation, and I don't ever want to go back to that ever again. But I'm gonna tell you guys, like, after being in a relationship where you get hit for so long, it's like scars you for life, and it almost made me feel like I was damaged goods. Okay. I remember coming out of that relationship and thinking, that's what I remember me and Neil when we first met, you guys, and we were talking, and I was sharing like past relationships, and I would tell him, like, I'm just damaged goods. I don't deserve to have a good relationship. Because that's what I felt. I felt like I didn't deserve it, I felt like I didn't deserve to have happiness. But I know today that that's a lie. And I know today that I deserve to be happy. I know today that I deserve recovery. But that is the lie that addiction and the abuse tells us. It tells us that we don't deserve it, right? Today has been such an amazing day, y'all. I am overwhelmed with gratitude, y'all. It's just been such, like, I love you, Jason. You helped me so much. called Neil to tell him about what happened with Ian and to tell him that you guys all came together and we got him the other half of his rent. And Neil goes, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I was like, no, I can. I have the best supporters in the world. I have the best the best friends. My friends are my subscribers are my friends. I have the best friends in the world. I knew it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go talk to everybody. I know that we can help this guy, right? And I'm telling you guys, he's called me 3 times since I got off the phone with you guys. He's called me 3 times to tell me, one, that his mom and dad didn't believe him and thought he was lying. So he wanted the video so he could show his parents. And hopefully they'll see that he's really going to be different, that he's really going to change his life and do something different. Because I can just, y'all, I know in my heart of hearts that he is going to turn this over. Hey, boy. What are you doing?
I was trying to see.
Are you not watching FGTVers?
No.
Why not?
It's not on.
What's on?
Only something else.
Did you want to tell everybody what happened? Tomorrow Nate graduates, y'all. You're graduating tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm a fever blister.
What kind of production are you doing?
A bus.
Live streams, but I'm going to start being more involved again. I'm so proud of you all for helping him.
Guys.
Oh, we love you, Jason. We love you.
Everyone hates me also.
We do not. Nobody hates you. Nobody hates you. Why do you say that? Huh? Look at them. They're saying, congratulations, little man. Congratulations, Nate. Hey, Nate, nice to see you. And well done on graduating. Yay, congrats, bud. Tasha says,
I go on a real bus.
We love you, Nate.
I go on a real bus.
We all think you're great, little man.
Do you notice, in our bus I was getting squished?
You were. He's so dang cute. We love you, Nate.
What?
Yeah.
I'm dang it.
You're dang cute. Cute kid. That's what they're saying. Y'all, he is so silly. They went on a field trip today to Church of the Rock Creek to do their performance, right? To practice it.
It was a real stage and not like a funny stage.
It was a real stage, you guys.
It was like a stage.
And can you sing us the song? How does it go?
Okay.
Okay, just sing it right there. You're handsome, young man, says Miss Sandras says you're handsome. You know what that means?
What?
You know what that means?
What?
She's in love with you.
What? No,
Get so embarrassed.
I can tell you something, Mom.
My baby girl graduates next week. I'm gonna cry. Me too.
Oh,
okay, do oh.
okay.
They're all waiting. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Get in front of them.
Okay, go.
No. No.
I'll do it with you. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh! Boom. Boom. Oh! Y'all know The Greatest Show? Yes, I meant all of y'all were warriors and survivors. Yes, we are.
We're warriors.
We're survivors, huh? Don't hurt me, Nate. Say, everybody's doing a good job, huh, buddy?
Everyone's doing a bad job.
Okay. So you're antsy, so I'm going to come upstairs with you, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, we saw subject, but when does your story time with Brittany?
Let's see a song for them.
Okay, so I'm waiting. She hasn't recorded. I'm just waiting for her to post it. She hasn't posted it yet. I went over there today and checked. Yes, baby, go ahead. Help me. Okay. You're going to hurt the people's ears. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Any day now, I'm sure. She said it would be either this week or last weekend. So sometime this week, I'm pretty sure. She hasn't posted on her channel in about a week. So I'm sure she's either editing it. I'm going to text her on Instagram and ask her just like, because I don't, here's the thing. I'm not trying to bother her because I don't want to be pushy because she's so sweet, y'all. Like when I was telling her my story, I was bawling like a baby and she was bawling. I mean, we were both crying and she was so understanding. And it was just like, it was like a good interaction. The both of us, she was interviewing me. And so it was cool. But I'm excited too, and that's going to be like, it's like, I'm excited. I'm excited. So anyway, good question, girl. Good question. And she's pregnant. Yes. So I think she's already got what, 3 girls, twins, so she's probably got a lot on her plate. But as soon as she uploads it, y'all know I'm going to be over here telling y'all, you know it. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys about that, about my experience with domestic violence. And I also wanted to just talk a little bit about that story that I was listening to on the podcast and just encourage you, if any of you are going through, an abusive relationship or you've been through one and you're struggling, like, I just want you to know that you're not alone. Like, I have been there. I know what it feels like. And I am here anytime you guys need me. All you have to do is reach out to me in the email and I will get right back to you. I know, right? Me too, y'all. Don't press it, buddy. It'll probably open my trunk, so don't do it. So, I love you guys. I'm going to go handle him tomorrow night at, we're going to do our mat support group tomorrow night, you guys. I think it's 7:30. I have it set. So I have reminder set. I will come on tomorrow and remind you guys sometime during the day to remind us and to be here tomorrow night.
If you go up front, I'll give you the keys.
Okay, Nate, hold on. So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow.
And look at the trunk. I
know, I saw it, Captain. I was tripping. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm gonna get off here and you guys, I'm gonna go. Stop.
Okay.
You better start, Karen. I called Ian's halfway house manager and told him that I have the money, so I'm going to meet with him tomorrow and pay that. And if I see Ian in person tomorrow, I'll get him on video and he'll come over here and talk to everybody, okay?